So guys, you went to school, did your primary, secondary and tertiary. You were taught a lot of subjects in school. You were groomed for the outside world so that you can go out to the world and show your skills, experience, and whatever you were taught in school, right? But one thing they never taught you is on how to deal with people in the outside world. So right now you have graduated from the university or from your technology school, wherever college, and you're faced with how to deal with a toxic work environment. Remember, you were not equipped, you were not trained, nobody taught you, nobody told you. All these are coming to play later on when you start to, grow at your workplace. This is Lulu's Food Court / Wellness. In this channel, we discuss everything that matters in regards to your health, well-being, your physical health, and your mental health. And also, we do cooking. In this channel, you're going to see a lot of recipes. I just want you to stay glued with me while we write this journey together. It is really all encompassing. You are going to get a value for your time. Subscribe to my channel. Make sure you send these videos to families and friends, and also comment, like the video. What that does to my videos is that it alerts the YouTube algorithm to say this is a promising channel. Can you push this channel forward to other people, because there are a lot of things to be learned in that channel. So if you do that, I will be most grateful. Thank you very much while we dive into the main matter that is knocking on our door right now. So what is today's topic? Today's topic, we are going to be dealing with toxic work environment. What to do? How do we deal? Nobody told me. What? Guys, I want to talk a little bit about myself growing up. I grew up in a family where humbleness is one of our culture. My parents taught me on how to be polite with everyone around me, how to be humble, don't look for trouble. When somebody comes for you, don't fight back, but report to authorities around. And, just try to be a good girl, and like that. Goes on like that. And that's what I knew. That is, how I grew up knowing life until I finished my primary, secondary, higher institution. Those were my armors. Those were the things guiding me. And to be candid, it actually put me out of trouble. It put me out of unnecessary, distractions in my youthful age, especially when I was still a teenager. All these juvenile delinquency things, I wasn't involved in them. I wouldn't do them not because my parents would get angry with me, but because I have been stuffed with a lot of training, a lot of morals, and thank God for my life. Let me just put it that way. So I thought that was how life is until I got my first job. And then I saw a different thing entirely. I saw competition, I saw bullying, I saw harassment at different level, all kinds of abuse from the senior staff to the junior staff, from staff at the same level as you. Everybody is fast. They want to be faster than you. They want to get a position, competition here and there, You need to learn how to talk loud, how to speak out loud, how to shout, how to, fight, how to report first, and all these political things going on here and there. And you know what? I just thought to myself, how come in my whole entire life I have been living and I have never been told this kind of environment, this kind of situation exists? At least for once. At least I would have guided my heart. I would have grown up, learning, knowing this other part of this other part of life. That would have helped me a lot because I was in shock. Absolute shock. Guys, it took me years to come out of that shock. Because my first few jobs, it looks like you are not smart. You are so quiet. You are so cool. If you do the right thing, they say you're too cool. Those portraying themselves in the presence of the management as good, whereas they come to the back and do all manner of things. Sometimes even some member of the management system as the superhuman, controlling people will be seen as superhuman, and so they get promoted. In your presence, you find your juniors promoted before you. And I thought to myself, what? In school, nobody teaches you this thing. So gradually, you have to pick up your broken pieces, and then run with it. So the big question, what do you mean by toxic workplace? What do I really mean by a toxic workplace? Simply put, for me, a toxic workplace is that place where you work, which could be 9 to 5, 12 to 12, whatever hour you are in a shift, or maybe a regular job, and then at the time where you're at this place, you feel the weight of the world all over you within this time that you are in this environment. That is what I classify or what I call toxic work environment. And it is really crucial that you prioritize your mental health at this period at your place of work. So how do we do all these things? Now, we are going to dive deep into this topic, and I believe that you're going to learn one or two. And do me a favor by imputing your response or what you think. If there's any contrary opinion or any comment or commendation, just leave that for me in the comment section, because I am going to be reading it, because this channel is the most engaging channel. I promise you that. I am going to be reading your comment, and then if it needs for me to respond to you or to reply to you, I'm also going to do that within reasonable time. Always try and surround yourself with uplifting individuals at your place of work, and also to be in a healthy environment that helps to promote your professional growth. But perhaps or peradventure, you find yourself in an unhealthy space, or you find yourself in a toxic environment. Sometimes it's inevitable, because you always somehow find that thing that is a setback for you, or that thing that draws you back at every place of work. And so you just have to learn how to deal with it. And so we're going to be discussing on ways on how to best, manage the situation. A toxic work environment will always enable you to showcase the worst of yourself. It will always make you show your worst. There is no beating about the bush here. There is no two ways about it. You will never ever, exhibit or express your fullest. Your fullest capacity at work. Signs that shows that you are working in a toxic environment. One of the signs is that you'll be fatigued and most times you find yourself ill. And for me, wherever you're working and you find yourself constantly calling in sick, you're not pregnant, even if you're pregnant, um, and you don't have any, underground or background physical illness, but you find yourself always calling in sick, it shows that you are actually working in a toxic place. And that could be as a result of mental exhaustion. You're always physically or mentally drained. Or it could be a sign of stress. When you're working in a place and the stress level is too much, too high that you can take, then you find yourself, fatigued. You work and then the next day you're not able to even get up from your bed. And then you find yourself calling in sick and all that stuff going on. My dear, you are in a toxic workplace. And we are going to talk about how to deal with that later on. Number 2 indicators for identifying a toxic work environment is little or no enthusiasm. Say, for instance, you resume your work, and when you look around from point A to point Z, check everywhere, and you could not find anyone truly happy. You can't find anyone smiling. Everybody is so, looking so harassed and unhappy. You can't find a positive conversation. Every time it's all about complaining. People are complaining, people are tired. You can't even find employee socializing. And that is a big indicator for a workplace toxicity. This can exponentially lead to a bigger problem, because what is a place where you work, you spend most of your hours, making inputs, and then you are sad, you are not happy, no one is smiling, the atmosphere is tensed. What kind of place is that? You're going to be dealing with a bigger problem later on, which could be a mental illness. It could be depression. It could be anything, relating to mental disorder. So we're also going to talk about how to deal with this kind of problems. Okay. Another factor, which is a third that I am mentioning to help you know if your workplace is toxic, is high staff turnover rates. Talking about staff turnover rate, it means that people are leaving and they're employing new people into your workplace. And you could have this turnover rate, at your company or even within your team. You've already built a team and you all know yourself too well, and you're working, like that, with a goal and a target. And all of a sudden, everyone starts to disengage. That feels so crippling for me. Whenever things like that happen and I'm in that team, I feel so sad losing a team member. Okay, because I don't just like new people coming in and new changes and all that, especially when we have a target or we have a goal that we are going to achieve. When you have a high turnover rate, it means that these staff have actually picked up on the toxic culture of your company or wherever you work. They picked up on this toxic culture and they have gotten to a point in their life where they cannot take it anymore. And so all the things that might affect them could be low morale, could be sickness, they are calling in sick every time, or lack of enthusiasm, as I mentioned earlier on. And all this thing goes a long way. For some people, it becomes a huge setback or a red flag for them, and then you find them just leaving the company. And so if you find your company having high turnover rate, it's high time for you to think about it the other way and realize for yourself that it could be a toxic place to work. So you need to, try and identify your place of work and know if it's truly toxic. The fourth one here is what I call cliques. exclusions and gossip. Yes, when you get to some workplaces, you might find yourself excluded. You will find some tight group of people, forming a strong bond. And then the whole essence of this group or this clique, that as I call it, is just to alienate the others. You feel so alienated at that place of work. You feel so alone, so lonely, so excluded. And then you don't even know what is running in their minds as against what is running in your own mind. You feel scared sometimes for yourself because you don't know what the plans are. Okay? In this type of situation, my dear, it is toxic. Look, it is okay if people try and form friendship, groups or cliques, and just for themselves, maybe to keep themselves positive at the place of work. And it's okay if they try to form acquaintance. That's fine. What the purpose of the group is to try and alienate others, to form a strong bond, to gossip about others and push all kinds of negativities out to others who are not in that clique, then that becomes a problem. Watch out, that place of work will have high turnover, because if they're not ready to absorb everybody as one, the other people who are alienated will feel so uneasy. And then if the matter is not taken care of by the management, you find them leaving immediately. They won't even stay except you don't have the choice. Okay, and that will bring me to my own life experience. See, I have worked in a place, because I am a nurse. I work mostly in care homes, and I have worked in a place where some group of nurses, formed a very strong clique. For me, when I found out about that, it wasn't a problem. For me, it wasn't a problem for me, because I just think that maybe they're just discussing their things and all that stuff. But the moment I found out that they hand over and take over on that group, the WhatsApp group, they hand over and take over on that group, and they even report others on that group. So if there's a situation or anything that happens to you, before you say jack, even the management don't even know these things. Some other team member or some other staff already they are aware, and they come to you, reacting to you based on what they've been informed, or based on what they've been told. So that becomes negative. It's no longer a positive reason for having that group. It becomes so negative, because whoever is not on that group is in for it, will be in their soup. So those on the group, when they do something that's not good, or when they do something that is wrong, they pat themselves, they talk about it, and they find a way to resolve it among themselves there. But if you are not in that group, everybody turns to you as the bad one, or they tell you stuff that you don't like. So that is what I'm saying. So if there will be a group at all like that, then everybody has to be included in that group. And then you see the workplace booming. You see people happy. Otherwise, if there's sections of people, forming group, and then that group initially might be intended for good stuff, but along the line, it will now switch into something else that you don't even know about. So my dear, that is a huge sign, indicator to show you that that workplace is toxic, and you have to learn how to deal with it. So the whole idea for this video is learning how to deal with toxic work environments. So let's ride on. And the last factor that indicates toxic work environment is what I call stifled growth. So you're in this company, and then over the years you've been working tooth and nail, and no development, no growth. You have been stifled, you've remained stagnant from where you were when you join the company and where you are at the present, you are still on the same level. They have not suggested any kind of mentorship to you, or suggested training and development to you. You remain just the way you are. Nobody's talking. I know it is not really your own primary responsibility to try and motivate yourself, especially if you're working at a place where they need your input strongly. It is their job to ensure that you get developed in your career, and make sure that you are where you should be. If you find yourself they're not suggesting anything to you, no support, no morale, it's an indicator that that place is a toxic environment. It's a toxic workplace. You might just need to start looking for somewhere else to work, where you get supported, where you get mentored. So my friends, we have talked about signs to show that your workplace is toxic. Now that we know, how do we deal with these problems? Now, I am going to talk about ways to deal with toxic work environment. And number one of this way is to find a support group. Yes, finding a support group will help you in a lot of ways, because it is not everything that you discuss with your colleagues. Remember, some of them might just be there to want to see your downfall. So it is good to invest yourself in joining a support group, which is a group outside work, where you ventilate and lay out your frustrations, and you can get easy solution. You can get response or idea or advice from people maybe on the same level as you. So in this way, you just find a way to unwind, especially where the tensions are high. Especially when your tensions are high already from your workplace frustration. You just find a way to relate your problems, and then you see people who are going to come around you and support you, and then give you idea on how to deal with the problem firsthand. Remember, prioritizing your mental health is the most important. It is even more important than that job that you are doing right there.